We continue here on the playoff edition of Westmoreland on the Gridiron. Sean Meyers now joined by Mike Brown, the head coach of the Norwin Knights, as his team set to embark in the Class 6A playoffs, jumping into the semifinals against number 2 North Allegheny. So first off, Mike, this has been a terrific season for Norwin. 7 wins, making the playoffs, getting that number 3 seed. When you think back to the success of the regular season, what are some key ingredients that stand out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the players. We gave them a blueprint, but the players, they followed it, but they're doing everything that we've asked for them, whether it be during the off season, during the season. So the hats off to them. But I think the biggest thing too is we're staying healthy. I think this is the healthiest we've been, as a team, especially this late, in the season and obviously in the playoffs. So granted, the kids, they're really taking care of their bodies. They really understand that's a key component to it. But honestly, it's the players that have been doing what, we've asked for them. And I think that's been, the biggest thing moving forward.
7 wins, but it still came down to the final week of the regular season for your team to officially clinch a playoff spot. So you win against Cannon McMillan in a close game. In week 8, week 9, you edge Mount Lebanon. What did you like most about your team's performances in those 2 games that ultimately proved crucial to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's, never giving up, the fight that they had. Both games, we found ourselves down, especially with quick plays, turnovers, things that have happened in a game where, the momentum tilted pretty quickly. So I'm really impressed with how the kids fought, how the players, stayed the course and fought through it. And, we've had some close games throughout the season that haven't gone our way. So I think we're really battle tested, and we have been on both sides of that, of being on close games. So I'm really impressed, though, is they just keep fighting. Whether something happens good, something happens bad, our players, they keep fighting, and they go till the end of the whistle. They go to the end of the game.
One of those close games that didn't go your way, of course, was against North Allegheny. We'll get to that in a moment. But when you knew that Central Catholic was the number 1 seed, North Allegheny was the number 2 seed, and then your team was still fighting to get in, there was the potential you could get in as the 3, get in as the 4, or miss altogether. Did you feel like there was a significant advantage to getting the 3 seed as opposed to the 4?
Yeah, to a sense. I think we went into it the last 2 weeks of just let's control our own destiny, and I think we used it as, we want to make sure by what we do, we get in, whether it be the 3 or the 4 seed, because that's one of our goals, each and every year is to get into the playoffs. But, I think saw during the season, we kind of gave, a game up with that NA, and it's kind of been burning, since the end of that game. And, we kind of talked about it as a team that Sunday after is, we want to see, them again. And, but it had to work out into our favor. So we understood, the task at hand, but, we were more excited just to get into the playoffs and, worrying about who we're going to play now. But I think the kids, they know that they can, compete with any team in 6A. They think they've had that confidence, throughout the season. But, we're excited to get the 3 seed, and we're excited, to play North Allegheny.
So because there's just 4 teams in the bracket, all the teams were off last week. How did you use that week in preparation?
Yeah, it's felt like a month right now, with all the practicing. But we kind of got healthier than, we've ever been. We really got treatment. We got the kids, in the weight room quite a bit. But, we still went out and we still practiced. We really focused on the fundamentals, getting back to the basics, a lot of special teams work. But, the kids, they were focused throughout. We had a quick one on Friday because of Halloween, let them go enjoy Halloween a little bit. But it was great to have, that bye week, to kind of reevaluate some things, do a lot of self-scouting, stuff that we do. But we kind of focus more on ourselves, getting back to healthy, getting back to the basics, ensuring some things up.
So you're going against the Tigers for the second time. They won 20-17 at Norwin in the first meeting, but that was, 6 weeks ago at this point. So I'd imagine both teams are a little different. How much can you take from that, and how much do you expect to be different this time around?
Yeah, I mean, as everybody knows, they have one of the greatest, coaching staffs, in the WPIAL. So, we're gonna know they're gonna do some things different. We're just gonna have to adjust, to it. But anytime you're playing an NA team, they're gonna be ultra physical. They're gonna try to pound the rock. They're gonna try to stop the run, which that's what we kind of bank ourselves on offense. So, kind of like every game, especially in the 6A conference, you're going to play, a really physical football team. So, that's one thing that we don't even have to question. I think what we're going to see is, are there some things they're doing offensively or defensively, schematically, that we're going to have to adjust to. But, I think it's going to be kind of business as usual and playing, hard-nosed football, which they're great at.
What are the biggest keys to knock off the Tigers?
I think it's eliminating mistakes. That's what happened last time we've played them. We kind of got comfortable having a lead, and we gave up, a couple big mistakes right before the half, and the interception at fourth quarter, third quarter. So you can't make those types of mistakes and give a team like that any room to breathe, or a short field like that, or they're going to capitalize on it. So I'm not saying we need to play a perfect game, but we just need to eliminate some of the mistakes and the turnovers. And just by talking about, the physicality, we have to control, that offense and defensive line. So, it's going to be a tough task for us, but I think our guys are up for the task.
This time, of course, it's a road game. Number 2 seed gets to play at its home field. The fact that it's the playoffs, do you think it's going to be noticeably different? Is it something that your players are going to at least take a drive or two to get used to, or do you think it's pretty much the same as a regular season matchup?
Yeah, I think it's going to be business kind of as usual because we've played there so much. Being in the conference, it's probably one of the cooler places to play. It's the atmosphere. There's nothing like it. So I don't really think it's going to, really sway one or the way or the other for us. I think we do a great job playing, away games, and have shown that this year. So we're excited to kind of take that, us against the world mentality with us up there. But, being so familiar of playing up there, I think we'll be just fine.
Lastly, if your team is able to win, is it a little too late to pull some strings and make some phone calls to get Norwin back as the 6A championship venue?
That's totally out of my pay grade, and I'm happy that it is out of my pay grade. But wherever we play, we're going to be excited. So that's a talk for Mr. Burrow, and he'll have that talk with you.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for doing this. We appreciate it. Congrats. I know it's a big deal to get to the playoffs, and obviously in 6A, that is not an easy task. So congrats and good luck on Friday night.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.